And for this Delta Math topic on proportionality more, graphing and relationships for this per that. Okay, we want to know how many of this per that. In this case, we want to read some story problems and think about, like in this case, how many dollars per sweater. And it's always this for that. It's always your Y for your X. So you literally just make a fraction with this number on top, and then you divide by this number on the bottom. Okay. All right. So what you need to do, ignore that, is a store buys 10 sweaters for 80 bucks. So right there, okay, right there, you might be able to say, oh, how much do they buy each of them for? Think about that. They spent 80 bucks on 10 sweaters. Well, that's 80 divided by 10 sweaters is $8 each, right? So they bought them pretty cheap, but dang, they turn around, they sell them for a profit. Okay. So how much profit does the store make per sweater? So if you want to know how much they make per sweater, you have to say, okay, well, how much do they sell them for? So how much this per that? How many dollars per sweater? And it's $370 for 10 sweaters, which if you divide, that's going to be 37 buckaroos. Okay. Way more than the $80 that they spent. So if they spent $80 for for all those 10 sweaters, remember they spent the $8. So when it says how much profit does the store make per sweater, profit is the difference between how much they spent, how much money they put into their product, and then how much they get out of it. Now there's all sorts of other real world things like marketing and paying for your employees and insurance and all sorts of stuff. But just compared to the sweaters, you would subtract 37 minus 8 to get the profit of $29 per sweater. Okay. So you could have also subtracted the difference there, I suppose. They did it a little bit differently than I did, but I wanted you to see both those relationships of the this or the that. Okay. Now you might also see something in chart form or table form or graph form. Okay. And on this particular one, not sure why it's a little bit blurry at the top there, but it says the table shows a proportional relationship between C and D. Now, whenever you see information and data listed out like this, it's going to be like your X and your Y. So don't let the C and the D throw you off. Okay. It's just like your X and Y. So the constant of proportionality is this or that, the Y per the X. In this case, the C, the D to the C. Okay. So the D to the C, okay, is how you find, if I want to say, how do I get from C to D, you have to find out how we got D. We take D and divide it by C. We kind of go backwards so we can find, oh, here's that relationship. That's what we would apply. So what we're going to do is just take any of these numbers, 11 over 99 or 14 to 126, 16 over 144, and simplify those fractions, or you can just divide, okay, on a calculator. Depends. Sometimes they might want their answers in fraction form, sometimes in decimal form. Okay, so if you do that, look here, you plug that in. Okay, they did the same thing that I was just explaining, but they plug that in. 11 over 99 is 1/9 when you simplify it. In fact, all of these are all 1/9. And it makes sense because every time we change, we should go from one point to the next. It should be the nice, consistent visual relationships between those numbers. Happy proportionaling. That's not a real word, but just do it anyway.